Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the latest edition of Terrace Talk. It's another huge game in the Championship for Norwich City this weekend. They've, of course, chasing down the team they're playing this weekend, only 3 points behind as we currently go into this round of fixtures. And, of course, that is Coventry City. And with that, delighted to be joined by Mark from All Things Sky Blue. Mark, first and foremost, how are you this evening?
Hi, Adam. Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to what should be a good game on Saturday. Things are going well for Coventry at the moment. Unbeaten in the last 12 games. I think your last defeat was against our bitter rivals, Ipswich, on the 2nd of December. So it's just one loss in 16 games. I suppose what's changed, because it was kind of a little bit of a difficult start to the season. It feels like Mark Robins has got things going now.
Yeah, I think the key change for me was a change of formation, which kind of started from the Preston game back in November, where we started the season sort of setting up the same formation as what got us to the playoff final, and sort of a 3-5-2, 3-5, or 3-4-1-2, however you want to look at it. And yeah, that didn't really work. The results, we were drawing lots of games, and not really. We picked up our first win on the road in end of September at QPR, and we weren't really winning a lot of games. We did win our first home game against Borough, but after that, it took us a while to get wins. We were drawing lots of games, and then he changed it to sort of a 4-3-3 / kind of 4-5-1, depending on how, the purpose of formation was for the likes of sort of Haji Wright and Sakamoto to kind of double up and help our fullbacks sort of work together in tandem, Bidwell and Van Aerback, and the results speak for themselves, as you mentioned. We've only lost, the last defeat was back against Ipswich, who I'm sure you love dearly, and it was. But we've been playing really well. Last couple of games, however, haven't been as good performance-wise, but we're still undefeated, which is good.
Yeah, sixth in the table, defeat in the playoff final last year, of course. What's the expectation now for the rest of the campaign? Is top six kind of a must for Coventry, or is there kind of a little bit of leeway that maybe you might fall away?
I wouldn't say a must, but I think we do expect to be at least top 10 this season, I would say. But it's a good opportunity to get the playoffs. I think 5th and 6th are up for grabs this season. I think it's fair to say that 3rd and 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th is all sewn up, really, depending on which order it is. But I think 5th and 6th is definitely up for grabs. And yeah, I think we're definitely good enough to get there. But there's a lot of games to go. As you know, there's still 17 matches left to play this season, so long way to go. Norwich are a team that obviously are fairly close to us in the league, and we don't really get a lot of joy at Carrow Road, so it's about time that we put a change to that, and it would be very nice to get 3 points. But I think whatever happens, it's going to go down possibly to the last game of the season.
Yeah, it feels that way. Of course, we're recording this on deadline day. Coventry, from what I can gather, just one signing through the door, Victor Torp, a Danish midfielder. Are Coventry fans happy with that signing, and would you like to see anyone else come through in the last hours of the window, or do you think that's your sort of business done for January?
I don't expect any more additions. I think Victor Torp has played. He's made 2 appearances. He scored against Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup. Really good strike. He's been taking set pieces, so I think he's showing a lot of promise. He came onto the sub on Tuesday night against Bristol City. He did pretty well. Possibility that he may be starting this game on Saturday because Ben Sheep is out injured with a hamstring injury, so I think he may be starting. I personally would like to see maybe a backup winger for Sakamoto. Possibly a backup right back as well. We've got Van Aerback as our sort of starter, but sort of after that it's kind of fill-in players. So that's my slight concern. But in all honesty, I don't imagine there'll be any more business tonight. But I probably will be now. I've just said that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's always the way. Who's maybe been the key player so far for Coventry this season? You said Ben Sheaf's out injured. I think he's been getting some pretty rave reviews for some of what he's been doing this season. Sakamoto, 7 goals, 2 assists. Feels like he's maybe starting to grasp it a little bit now after a slow start. Callum O'Hare, we all know from years gone by that sort of the ability he's got in a Coventry shirt. So who's sort of the key player that Norwich fans should look out for on Saturday?
Definitely Tatsu Sakamoto. I think he's been one of the reasons why we've flourished a lot with the new formation changes, because he's been able to play his preferred position. Whereas at the start of the season, he was kind of playing as a right back / right, going patrolling all the way down the wing kind of thing. And I don't think he's not bad defensively, but he's a much better player going forward. And yeah, I think he's been a really good player for us, really good signing. For me, our best player this season. Callum O'Hare has done well since coming out from injury. He's starting to score goals, and he's looking good. I'm just trying to think who else. Haji Wright has had a slow start to the season, but he's started to pick up some goals. He's just come back from injury though, so it's possible that he might start. He could go Casey Palmer, but I think if I would hedge my bets on Haji Wright starting for this game. So probably there are sort of our threats going forward. I think centre forward has been a little bit of a problem for us because we haven't had a lot of goals out of. Or Godner actually is our top goal scorer in 9, but hasn't scored. Away scored 9 goals and our top goal scorer. He hasn't scored for quite a while. And Ellis Sims hasn't scored. He's only scored 4 goals this season. He scored in the Tuesday match against Bristol City with a tap in, but at least he was there at the right place at the right time. But yeah, I think we're a good side. I think they're probably our biggest threats for you. Yeah, I think we've got a side there that I think would definitely compete with you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, of course, a former Norwich City manager in the dugout, or sorry, Norwich managed player. Sorry, Mark Robbins, a legend at Carrow Road. First joined Coventry in a management role in 2012. Left to go to Huddersfield. Returned. Of course, he's been in League 2, League 1. He's brought you back to the Championship. Took you to a playoff final. Won various other, Johnstone Paint trophies or whatever it's named these days. What sort of job has he done at Coventry, and how much is he loved by the fans?
Awful job, terrible job. No, I'm saying that sarcastically, of course. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's a legend, and I think the only thing, in all seriousness, he's got to achieve for us is getting us back to the Premier League, and that's he said publicly that's where he wants to take us. And he's asked recently on Fight Live by I think Chris Sutton, who's actually a former Norwich player, about why is it that clubs in the Premier League, why are other clubs not looking to get his services? But he's made it clear that he's very happy at the club and he wants to take us back to the Premier League. So I think that's a great thing for me as a fan to hear, with a manager who wants to be at the club and is committed to the cause. And that's one of the things I'd say about Robbins. It's not just, to be fair, it's not just about Mark Robbins. It's also the backroom team: Ep25, Dennis Lawrence. I think the recruitment has generally been good as well. There's a lot of positives. We've got an owner who we're debt free as a club, so there's a lot of good things off the field as well. So yeah, Robbins is doing an amazing job, and but also Adi Vivash is a great coach as well. He certainly helps with Robbins and Dennis Lawrence to bring the best out of our players. So yeah, it's really settled. I mean, the club really has been settled for quite a while. On the field with the management. He's been on charge for 7th year now this year, and yeah, it's looking really positive. And as I say, I think we've got a good enough sides to get into playoffs this season. But it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of good sides there, and Bristol City, who came to us on Tuesday, although they're sort of mid-table, they're a capable side as well who could get into playoffs. And I think the league generally is very, very tight. There's only really 6 points to separate sort of 14th to 6th. So, yeah, I think it's a very tight league from that point of view. But so that goes back to what I said earlier about the fact I think it's very open. For the 5th and 6th spots are very open this season.
Yeah, lots of players have played for both clubs down the years. Darren Huckabee, a legend at both. Leon Dublin, a legend at both. Jacob Murphy, James Maddison, Sam McCallum, more recently still in the Norwich City squad. If you had to pick maybe one of those players or someone else that's represented both teams that you've seen, who would you pick as terms of a best player for Coventry?
I think for me it would be Dion Dublin, which I'm kind of showing my age a bit, but I remember him playing for us in the Premier League, and he was a fantastic striker. Scored lots of goals, and was also quite a useful centre half as well, so he could play 2 roles. Huckabee was quick as anything, very, very fast. Any Coventry fan will tell you the goal against Man United in '97, I think it was, where he went on that mazy run and he put it past, I think it was Schmeichel or it might have been Van der Gaal, actually, thinking about it. My only frustration with Huckabee is he always got caught offside all the time, and it did my blooming head in. So Maddison was very young when he was with us. Obviously, he was still a bit raw, I have to be honest. But obviously, you look at him now as a player. What a player he is now! Fantastic player. For obviously now at Spurs and obviously been at Leicester. Jacob Murphy was a decent player as well for us. But I think my favourite player, I think our best player was Dublin in the years that I've watched the Sky Blues play.
Yeah, I think Huckabee's one of the ones who's probably most loved down at Norwich. Just intrigued to get your thoughts on Norwich. You kind of spoke there about the Championship being incredibly tight, and it's kind of two places now that all these teams are vying for. What have you made of our season so far from kind of afar? Have you seen much of us via the TV?
I went to the game at the CBS Arena when Norwich came, and it was 1-1, and I felt Norwich looked decent to start. They got the first goal, and I was a bit surprised when Norwich were very defensive after that. They were quite happy to sit on the lead, particularly second half. And to be honest, we were probably playing us at a good time. We were pretty dreadful, and we could have played till next week. We wouldn't have scored. So, but then we got a goal late with an own goal. So it was 1-1. But I have seen other games of Norwich this season where I feel they've been, at home at Carrow Road, I say, where they've been pretty dominant. I mean, the Millwall game I remember obviously on Sky, and they played very, very well that game. Look a good passing side. Josh Sargent, I'm assuming will be fit for Saturday. Looks a good player. I think he's really talented. Jonathan Rowe, I think, is a good player as well. Is he injured for this game? I think Rowe, is that right?
Yeah, he's out for Saturday. Yeah, it's a bit of a blow for us.
Yeah, that's good. So no, obviously gets better soon, but after this game. So yeah, look, I think Norwich are a really good side. I know Wagner had a lot of critics sort of early on in the season, and then obviously now results have started to pick up. I watched a bit of the Liverpool game last week, and I thought he did okay. You got the equaliser, and then obviously Liverpool went on to win fairly comfortably. But and obviously you played at Leeds as well, and you got a tight game, and obviously Leeds won 1-0. But I mean, in all honesty, Leeds are a top side, and not many teams get results there. So although we got a point there, which is definitely a point gained. I think if you get a point at Leeds, you've done really well. But yeah, I think Carrow Road, Norwich are pretty strong, and unfortunately, I'm not going personally to the game, but I'm sure it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you mentioned 1-1 in the reverse game. Are you kind of expecting a different game on Saturday? It feels like Norwich, as you mentioned, have picked up results, and they've got Josh Sargent back, and the form at that point when we went to the CBS was very poor. Coventry obviously kind of picked up a lot of results since a lot of the players you maybe brought in the summer hadn't quite kind of adapted to the league yet. It feels like they're maybe now starting to make those steps. So expecting a slightly different game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I certainly don't think Norwich will be putting 10, 11 men behind the ball. I think that's not the way I expect Norwich. Norwich are quite an expansive side. I mean, last season when I went to the game and Norwich won, I think 4-2. I think looking back, and they were really, really good. They looked a really good side. I thought obviously Pookie's obviously now been moved on, but he was fantastic. And yeah, they looked like a really, really good side. I always feel when I play Norwich that it's going to be a tough game, and the fact that obviously they've not been. This is your second season now from being relegated to the Premier League. I think there probably is an expectation that Norwich should be looking at the playoffs. Really, they should be targeting it. Really, bearing in mind they've got the parachute payments on the rest of it. So, yeah, I think it'll be quite an open game. I think it will be. I think both teams have chances, and it's just it's who turns up on the day, and hopefully it's a Coventry fan we can. I mean, our away form is getting better. We've won 5 on the road this season. It took us a while to get our first win, but we've been pretty good recently on the road. So if we can, I just think the last couple of performances have been a bit disappointing, a bit lackluster for me, particularly against Bristol City. I thought we were pretty average, but happy to scrape a draw on that con. But yeah, I think it'll be a tight game though. I don't think there'll be a lot in it.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Norwich's last defeat against Coventry, 28th of February 2009. So it's quite a long record. And with that, going to sort of push you for a score prediction, Mark. I think that run spans 9 games. Will Coventry get the better of Norwich on Saturday?
I've got to be positive and say go for an away win, because anyone who watches All Things Sky will know that I always predict draws, and I'll try and break that habit now and go for a win for us. I'm going to go with a very tight 2-1 win.
Yeah, I could see something similar. Norwich potentially very good in terms of scoring goals, but still slightly susceptible to leaking goals. Slightly improved that in recent times, but yeah, I think if Coventry can get their sort of attacking quality and attacking players into the game, it could be a pretty good game. And just to round off the show, Mark, do you want to plug your channel and where Norwich and Coventry fans can find your content?
Yeah, so I'm from All Things Sky Blue. Please like and subscribe to our channel, which is on the YouTube. We're also on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on X as well, and also you can download and listen to our podcast as well, which is on your podcast channels, Apple, Spotify, etc. We usually have a live show on a Sunday on our X space, but obviously we push it out to our podcast channels as well if you don't have an X account. So that's where you can find us at All Things Sky Blue.
There we go. We'll link it all down below so you can head over and check Mark's content out. Mark, do really appreciate your time this evening. That will round off this week's show. Hopefully we get a good game on Saturday. Two teams that will be gunning for trying to get into the playoff places come the end of the season. Norwich look like they might do a little bit of business before the end of the transfer window. We await the signing of Van Hooydonk, the Dutch striker on loan from Bologna. It looks like Adam Eder, of course, going to Celtic on loan. By the time you're watching this, all that will probably be confirmed, and we'll know where Norwich City stand heading into Saturday. Lots of other great content across our channels at the moment. Of course, David Wagner's press conference from earlier today is now up on our YouTube channel. We were down at Colney and speaking to him, lots of interesting lines around sort of the team news, the transfers, and a few interesting lines around Coventry, which I think Mark has maybe wound up a few Coventry fans.
Well, clearly we're a better club than Norwich, of course. I did see his comments. I mean, I know the most fashionable club in the world, but I think what Wagner probably has forgotten is the fact that we have been a Premier League club in the last 34 years. We're a Premier League club, and we are a big club. But I think, in all seriousness, I think he was just praising the work that Mark Robins had done with the club, and yeah, I mean, I agree with that totally. I think Mark Robins has done an amazing job for us.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that was probably where his sentiment was. Of course, you can go and watch that for yourself on our YouTube channel. That will round off this week's show. Thanks for joining us, and of course, we'll see you next week ahead of the trip to QPR.